Welcome to today's webinar, where today we'll be discussing 3 ways high-performing teams uses AI system for Acrobat. My name is Tony Banbury. I'm a Principal Solution Consultant with the Document Cloud and Sign team within Adobe. We've got some great content for you for the next 30 minutes, but before we get started, I'd like to give a few housekeeping items. For the best viewing experience, we encourage using a high-speed and stable internet connection and closing any programs or browser sessions running in the background that could cause issues. Some networks can cause slides to advance more slowly than others, so logging off your VPN is recommended. If your slides are behind, pushing F5 on your keyboard will refresh the page. This session is being recorded and will be available after the webinar concludes today, so you can access it via the same link that you used to get access to today's live event. You can also access and download the presentation slides and other resources on the side of your screen under Resources. We do encourage you to ask questions throughout the webinar, and we plan time to field some questions at the end of the presentation. And to submit your question, simply type it in the Q&A box on the side of your presentation console. We will do our best to try and answer as many of these as we can during today's webinar. Please also complete the survey shown on the screen. This feedback is invaluable to delivering quality webinars on the topics you would like to see in the future. And finally, you can find additional answers to some common technical issues in the help tool at the bottom of your screen. But with that, let's get started. Gen AI. Generative AI is obviously a very hot topic, and a lot of customers that we have met in both US and EMEA already have some kind of AI initiative. And it's happening either using an AI committee, evaluating tools, or just deploying some small test environments. So Gen AI is not just a technology or a business trend, it's a profound shift in the way that companies will be doing business. We've analysed some reports from the likes of Forbes and Gartner, which you can see at the bottom of the screen there, and we've looked at some of their reports and it's provided some useful insights. So according to Gartner, machines are evolving from being our tools to becoming our teammates, which is a really interesting concept. And Gartner predicts that by 2025, AI will be a workforce partner. A few more stats for you as well. So the expected market for AI should be $407 billion by 2027. 79% of leaders that have looked or adopted AI have reported a cost decrease by AI adoption. And 90% will be a workforce by 2025. And that's really interesting given the fact that we've only got a few more months left of the year. So the technology is advancing. 60% of business owners believe that AI will improve customer relations by automating manual tasks such as chatbots. And 64% of business owners say that AI will increase productivity. And then finally, 65% of customers will say that they trust businesses who uses AI. And this is interesting because it shows them that companies are actually following the trend. AI is here to stay. It's not going to be going anytime soon. And I think the adoption of AI is something that everyone will have to look at eventually from an organizational perspective. Now, as you evaluate AI solutions, along with the promise, there are some big questions. And we looked at a report by bankinfosecurity.com, and the link's in the bottom left-hand corner of the slide there. There are 3 main concerns. The first concern is data privacy, security, and accuracy. Second major concern is deployment complexity. And the third major concern is cost and ROI. So when we think about these, the first one really is around security. So security professionals, 82% of them see data leakage as a top concern for generative AI. Now, if you think about what you can do with AI, it's essentially you're asking it questions. Now, the main form of concern around data leakage is what if somebody types into a Gen AI like ChatGPT, something that could contain company confidential information or something regarding that information they don't really want to be sharing amongst other people rather than just their colleagues. So that's the concern because you can't stop people from typing something into a ChatGPT style search engine. 71% of business leaders are concerned that you get incorrect or misleading results. These are known as hallucinations. And this is, again, a top concern because AI is learning and it's learning from the information that it's being able to get hold of. So when we're thinking about these sort of 2 concepts, the thing is cost. So is this going to cost me too much money to implement? What's the time to sort of return on investment? How long is it going to take for me to get up and running? So these are all the major concerns that we've seen. And so how is Adobe helping enterprise customers capitalize on this AI promise for helping knowledge workers and also addressing these concerns? Well, these processes that are currently manual and inefficient don't help. So we've looked into AI, and with Document Cloud for Enterprise, we've reviewed these inefficient document processes, and these slow down business, right? They bog down knowledge workers, and we still have this concern about AI with document security and also data protection. So Document Cloud, it basically enables efficiencies within your digital document processes for knowledge workers. It provides a unified solution, which you can create, you can consume, you can edit, you can review, you can approve. And we've got 4 key values for this solution. The first one is that we want to reinvent this whole document process experience with generative AI. Now, what it's going to do is going to make things so much easier for you to get information from your documents rather than just the classic Command F. So it's going to increase your knowledge time. And then it's also going to help give you more thorough and quicker insights than having to scan the document manually, particularly if there's a lot of documents that you want to look at. The second one that we have is anywhere productivity. So traditionally, most people work from a laptop or desktop, but that's not necessarily the case. You might want to work on the go, on a mobile, or in a collaborative environment such as Microsoft Teams, or even on the web. So Acrobat can plug into the standard M365 environment, things like Word, Outlook, Teams. So we're trying to give you that whole concept of collaboration, making you be able to work faster and more streamlined. The next one is data protection and compliance. So we want to make sure that where possible, we can safeguard against cyber threats and breaches by giving you the information inside the document itself. So you're basically making sure that you are providing a better experience, more streamlined experience, more controlled environment by not going out and trawling the web for answers when you're doing searches within your documents. And then finally, document automation. So we're trying to drive workflows, drive efficiency, drive cost savings. And so you can build seamless document experiences, trying to make it a better process for people to access their documents, access the data, collaborate, and also then finalize the document and get it signed off. Now, we've got some news about, obviously, a next chapter with AI, but before we go into that, I wanted to give you a brief context on what we've been doing for the last 30 years and why this matters. So the purpose of this slide is really just to sort of show you what we've been doing. We are the experts in digital documents. In 1993, we created the PDF format and launched Acrobat. Then in 1997, we've got fill-in forms. And then in 2008, we released PDF as an open source format to the world, allowing a lot more people to use the PDF platform and the PDF capabilities. In 2011, we created the concept of PDF editing. We introduced electronic signatures, and we also had the Adobe Acrobat mobile app launched for mobile platforms with iOS and Android. In 2017, Acrobat comes to the cloud. So we basically turned it into Document Cloud rather than Acrobat, giving you the ability to access from the web browsers. And we also introduced Adobe Scan, which is the free scanning tool that you can download from your app stores. We looked at 2018, we looked at Sensei. So this is our idea of having the capabilities of generative AI to format documents in a way that makes it easier to use and to understand. And then in 2020, we introduced Liquid Mode. So Liquid Mode is our proprietary AI, and it basically helps to understand the structure of PDFs and gives you the ability to unlock a new level of understanding. And what it does, it basically adjusts the PDF to fit whatever environment you're on, whatever screen size that you're on. With PDF Extract API, we used AI to review data in context and efficiently analyzed by machine learning to expose insights and extract information out of PDFs. And then finally, here we are in 2024 with our AI assistant, which I'll go into in a little while. Now, if you think Acrobat has been the de facto standard for PDFs, as I mentioned, since 1993, currently we have over 500 million monthly active users within Acrobat, and 400 billion PDFs were opened in Acrobat last year, and 16 billion were edited in Acrobat last year as well. So they've become the de facto standard, and it's really important. We've also looked at the concept of a deeper understanding of document structure. We know documents inside and out. And with the Acrobat format and the PDF format, but also giving people the AI-powered document insights, which we're going to be talking about shortly. And then finally, on this slide, we're talking about the fact that PDF's been reimagined. We're not standing still, we're innovating, and we're escalating the capabilities within the product itself to give you the access that you need and the information that you need to make knowledge workers' days a lot more efficient, saving you time and saving you effort. So before I go any further, what I wanted to actually do is talk about what a PDF is. Now, although PDFs are de facto standard, and it's the most important digital information that PDFs is within a PDF, is considered the fact that it is actually not just a document. So if you haven't seen this before or you're not aware of it, PDF is not a file format. PDF is effectively a container, and it's a multi-layered container. So what this means is that you can basically have information within the PDF format that's consistent across documents, devices and operating systems. So it's a file format that encapsulates a complete description of a fixed layout flat document. And so it includes the text, it includes fonts, graphics, and other information. But also we can have things within it such as the attributes, the metadata, and the rendering. So we can apply security policies to documents. We can do calculations. And then we can also take data out of these PDFs. So we can capture information from them, we can collect information from them, and export information out of them. So with the likes of a PDF A3 standard, it allows for the embedding of files of any format within a PDF. So basically, it makes it a container for not only the visual representation of documents, but other formats like XML, Word, and proprietary binary formats. So this enhances the PDF's role from merely representing electronic paper to serving as a comprehensive electronic container for both human and machine readable versions of the document. So with AI Assistant, we can help turn these documents into action. So for one or more multiple documents on any document format, we can use that with our AI Assistant. And what it means is you can ask documents questions. You can analyze the data within it. You can even brainstorm, such as show me something. You can edit, you can also create. But the main thing here, when you're thinking about a document in its traditional format, is you open it up. And if you want information, you either scroll up and down or hit Command F, and then you have to search. As I mentioned, any supported file format, anything that can be converted to a PDF. So think about things like Word documents, yes, but also include things like Microsoft Teams transcripts, which would be really, really useful. And you can do this across one or many documents. So you can bundle up documents and bring them in for the AI assistant to analyze, and they don't have to be in the same file format. So what it means is this. It means you're getting insights, high quality insights, using our own proprietary technology. And we attribute the search results to the document and only the document. So we don't trawl files that are in your environment. We don't go out to the web to try and trawl for answers. We're effectively providing you the ability of searching a document and extracting the data from it directly from the source files. And with a simple GPT call for summary and suggested questions, they're really easy to verify because, as I mentioned, we're going back to the source file. You can also make things really simple to extract data from a document to write things such as emails, reports, and blog summaries. So what basically you can do is you can turn this stuff into action. So you essentially ask the AI assistant a question of the document, and the result comes up. You can just copy it out, and you can paste it somewhere else. Really easy to deploy. You're essentially deploying this technology with your existing estate via the Adobe admin console. So you have full control over that, and it doesn't crawl your files, as I mentioned. The AI assistant is right in the app itself, and it's a fully controlled deployment. There is not any other way of doing it. really simple to use. You bundle it up and deploy it out as you see. Finally, your data remains yours. So AI Assistant only examines the documents that you have access to, and we do not use your data for large language model training, and that's really important. So nobody can see your data, and you're fully in control, as I mentioned. So the idea behind AI is we want to accelerate the productivity of every knowledge worker. How do we do that? Well, it's really simple. Currently, according to some of the reports that we looked at via MIT, PricewaterhouseCoopers, and APAQ, the average knowledge worker spends 8.2 hours per week looking for information. So that's trawling across documents in multitude of file formats, in multitude of file stores and file systems. So it's information overload. And basically, you're wasting your time. And 80 to 90% of this data is unstructured. So there's no structure to the data, there's no security around the data. It could just be reams and reams and reams of random documents. And essentially, the trouble that you're going to have is going back to this 8.2 hours. What you'd like to get is document insights quickly and with the correct answers coming back. So when we think about these different departments, this information is trapped in company documents all over an organization. Proposals, statements, anything else. And it's really difficult to get hold of. So how can you make these business decisions when there's documents scattered across your organization? SharePoint alone, for example, will contain hundreds and hundreds of documents. And you want to get the information out of these documents, it's going to be very difficult. So we're trying to be that missing link. So it's a great quote from PwC. So generative AI can turn more data into more value more quickly. And that's the point. You want to be able to get the information quickly to make your role more efficient. So going back to our different departments, let's take a look at some of these example use cases. So the first off, if you think about marketing and PR, what we're talking about here is content creation. So where do I get that information from? How can I get information out of white papers, website sort of downloads that have been converted to PDF? How can we get that information out and then turn it and use it to our advantage and turn it into a blog post, for example? The next one, sales. What about if you work in sales? You might need information such as RFIs, RFPs, product information, product statements, and you need to be asking questions of your document to help you close your bigger deals. With finance, you think about company insights. So shareholder relations, company statements, investor relations, all that kind of stuff. You get these great big reports come out. It might be 50, 60, 70 pages long, and then you can't see what you want. So you want to get that information out quickly. With HR is really interesting. It could be, for example, policies. You might want to look at or review certain HR policies, holiday policies. You could also look at, for example, CVs, where if you're hiring a candidate, you might want to say, based upon the criteria that I put in here, tell me if this candidate is suitable, that sort of thing. Legal and compliance is a really, really big area. So loads of regulations out there. Regulations are always changing. You often get legal white papers, and you might want to look through those to see what information is available that you need to understand if there's going to be a change in any form of legislation. And then R&D. So research and development, industry trends, company white papers, technical white papers, really in-depth technical information that you might want to sort of look at and then get a small piece of information out rather than scan the entire document to find that one snippet that you need. Okay, so let's talk about access. We've spoken about the solution, spoke about some of the things that you can do with it. How do I get access? Well, as I mentioned, centralized deployment, and it's the integration with your enterprise or federated ID via the Adobe Admin Console. You can log on with your single sign-on, and what you see is the AI assistant icon within your chosen environment. And there's lots of different ways that you can see it. The first one is the classic desktop. So in the desktop application, you just launch it. You can see the recommended tools come up on there, but you basically see this as one of the tools within the desktop environment. via the web. Again, you can see that the tool comes up. And then on the left-hand side, you've actually got the AI assistant as one of the browser tools there. You select the AI assistant, upload your document, and then you can start using the solution. Inside of Microsoft Teams, so you'll see here on the Teams screen that there's an Acrobat app that I've installed with Teams. And again, I've logged in, I've used my single sign-on, and you can see the AI assistant logo. And then finally on mobile, you would actually see it on your mobile device when you open up the PDF, and you can then access it from there. So before we go any further, a bit of summary around data, because this is really important. Customer data is not used to train language models. So we're not taking your data and feeding it into an LLM system. We are basically using it and only using it for your document. So you are in control. So you tell it what document to look at. You use it by logging in with a single sign-on. You open up your document. You activate the AI assistant. So nothing's being done in the background. You are activating the AI assistant yourself. You can only use it on documents that you already have access to. So you can't use the AI assistant to open up a document that you don't have permissions to see. And then every response that comes back from the AI system is attributable to the source document, not to anything else. So we're not trawling the web, we're not trawling files across your file system. It's all self-contained within the document, and the results come from that document. And as I mentioned, enterprise controls, so you can only see if you're allowed to see it. Finally, this is really important. Adobe has a principle of ethical AI. And this means that we have principles of accountability, responsibility, and transparency. And we've established standardized processes from design to deployment, and they include training, rigorous testing, and we have an AI ethics review board with a diverse oversight. In addition to that, we have a block list for specific words that we don't want our model or our system to ever respond to, and we just block those responses. So we are really, really keen to promote ethical AI rather than just letting it trawl the internet and find responses that people may find offensive. Everything is kept within the document. Okay, so that concludes the presentation. I'm going to go into a short demonstration, but before I do, there's some links there for more information. We will make these links available to you within the resources page, so do take a look at them. It's a really useful PDF there that you can see on generative AI, and there's a high-level overview on the link below that. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to jump into a very quick demonstration of how we can use AI across multiple platforms. So let's just get that up and running. Okay, so as you can see, I'm in a PDF. It's a 60-page PDF, and I'm clicking on the AI assistant, and it gives you a high-level overview, a generative summary, and you can then also ask it some questions rather than doing Command and F. So this is a really big document. I want simple answers. Well, the next one is a transcript of financial earnings call. I've not even opened the document, and I can get the summary, and I can basically say, give me the list of the 5 most salient points, and also some insights, such as what's the main focus of Adobe's history. So you're brainstorming, you're asking it questions. For the next scenario is a technical white paper. So I'm looking for a specific subject matter in my question. So how are analytic search engines evolving? And it pulls out from this 32-page document all the information I need. And then finally, for desktop, Microsoft Purview information security means that this document actually has no security against it, so I can do what I like. So with that document, I can then use the AI assistant to write me a blog post. So on this 16-page document, I'm extracting all the relevant information that I need. I simply hit copy. And then what I do is I open up my default applications such as Word. I can paste the information in. As you can see on the screen, it's formatted really well. Now, it's a 500-word blog post that I've just copied and pasted without having to type anything myself. So it makes your workday a lot more efficient. If we go onto the web, I've got multiple documents here, which is 3 documents, and I've asked for a brief email summary of the document. And those numbers there attribute back to which document and which section I got the information from. I hit copy. Then what I do is I open up my mail client, and if I want to draft this email, I don't have to type anything at all other than the email address of the person I'm sending it to, and maybe change, for example, then the recipient name. But again, everything has been formatted for you correctly, and all the information has come out of the report. Finally, for this section, I'm on a Microsoft Teams web meeting, and I wanted meeting notes using the AI assistant. So it's pulled through everything from a 42-page meeting notes to give me a complete summary of that entire meeting, including the salient points. And in Teams itself, I can launch Adobe Acrobat, I can open up a file, and you can see there that I've pressed the AI assistant and I've asked what the 4 and 5 components of Adobe's POD strategy, and it gives me some of the answers there that we have. So the generative AI is really, really useful in making sure that you can actually be really productive. So let's just hit back again. And let's just go back to our screen. So as I mentioned, we covered the 3 ways that people can be more productive. So think about the 3 ways that we've got, right? We can use multiple documents across multiple operating systems and multiple platforms. We can gain insights from those documents, so we can query them, and we can also get a generative summary, making it really, really simple to understand what's in a very difficult, long page, complex document, make it really easy to see and really easy to use. So that really kind of concludes the presentation. I do have a couple of questions that have been asked whilst I've been speaking. The first question comes in, it says, what are the size limitations for a document? Well, we currently have a size limitation of 120 pages or 25 megabytes per document. So you see the section of the demo that I uploaded 3. So that would obviously be 75 megabytes and 318 pages. So we can handle the kind of the scale there. The second question is coming is what large language model do we use? And we use Microsoft Azure AI. But we do not pass any information to Microsoft with regards to our AI assistant, and Adobe does not contain your information for longer than is absolutely necessary to process the document. And the third question that I've been asked is what languages we support. We currently support English, but we have a release coming out later on in the year, and that will